Okay. Stream manager. Am I live? Hell yeah, I am. I can hear myself talk and everything. That's good shit. That's some good shit. So now we're going to wait a little bit. Make sure everybody who wants to be here is going to be here. Maybe I can share my stream. Share channel. Copy to clipboard. Oh no. Let's go to stream chat. Bang. Live. Okay. What are we going to talk about today? What are we going to talk about today? Oh, there you are. Sit. There you go. Got some chicken. Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. All gonna depend on who shows up, who wants to watch the stream. Because if there's nobody that's coming, then I'm probably just gonna play New World. If some people are gonna come, then I don't know. Well, oh Baloo, halt da gosh, halt da gosh, wirklich. Oh Baloo, du bist lustig. Geh auf den Platz. Geh auf den Platz. Bleib. Sit. Go boy. Stay. Bleib. Okay. For that, you get a piece of chicken. Bleib. 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 We are just waiting to see if anybody comes today. It's possible that people don't come today. Baloo, sit. 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 9. Geh auf den Platz. Geh auf den Platz. Sit. Bleib. Bleib. I think I'll give it like 2 more minutes maybe, just to see who else wants to come to class, as it were. And if nobody else comes to class, then we'll just get started. I'm thinking maybe... Oh boy. RimWorld could be cool. RimWorld could be really cool. Me, I'm coming to class. Good. I'm glad, Toaster Shooter. I'm glad. Oh, I could probably make this much more efficient if I just clear. And then... I'm a very attentive student. You are indeed. Among the most. Well, I'm glad you're here. We'll see. We'll see if anybody else comes. If not, then I don't know. I'm up to discuss like either whatever you want to discuss or um, give you some options on what we could talk about. Because I have a couple different ideas we could talk about today, but I'm not entirely sure what I want to do. Let's make me super big just to see what that looks like. Aha! Interesting. I've never done that before. But yeah, we have a couple different options. We could talk about card games. We could talk about... I'm fairly open-minded in the matter myself. Okay, cool. You're in this jam, correct? You're participating in the narrative game jam number 2. Uh-huh. Now that it's bigger, it makes more sense. I'm also assuming you have to go to class like halfway through the stream because you usually do. Okay, cool. How have you found the scene thing? How have you found that so far? I guess the better question is, have you been able to start? And if so, how have you found the scene thing to be? And while you're doing that, I'm going to pull up the jam page. I have a couple of neato ideas brewing. Cool. Very, very cool. Can I make a game for Android? You can, but I can't promise everyone will be able to play it. I like how it makes me think about what I'm making in terms of length and what actually happens within. Yeah, right. I mean, that's kind of the goal, right? So I had this really great professor, and surprisingly, in this circumstance, it's not Pinckney. But I had this really great professor. His name was Scott Rogers. Sit, Baloo. Sit. 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 What are you doing? Why are you trying to go under the chair? Sit. Sit. Good boy. My dog. I have chicken, so my dog wants to be near me. It's right here. What are you doing? I had this really great professor named Scott Rogers, and he was an English lit professor, and he did this really, really, really interesting thing that I've never seen done before that English professors do. And so we come into class, right, day 1. And he says, okay, so in this class, what you're going to do is you're going to write 5 position papers. Yeah, sit, dog. Sitz Hund, as the Germans would say. But he says you're going to write 5 position papers. And we're like, whoa, what's a position paper? And he says, it's an essay. And we're like, oh, 5 essays? And he's like, it has to be 1 page. And we're like, what do you mean? And he's like, it has to be 1 page. It cannot be longer. I mean, it literally has to be exactly 1 page long. Right? And we're like, oh, thank God. Thank God. And he's like, but you better make your argument perfect in 1 page. Right? And we were like, okay, well, no big deal. And so essay 1 comes around, position paper number 1 comes around, and not one of us could keep our argument within 1 page and tell the complete argument. It just felt impossible, right? And he said, well, it's because you're not honing in enough on what your argument is. You're not thinking enough about your argument. Because if you think enough about your argument, you can cut all the fat. It's not going to be you're never going to be able to make a great argument, but you're going to be able to make a really good argument in 1 page, right? And we're like, oh, wow, this is insane. And each subsequent paper after that, I mean, it got better. We got better at it, right? But it was hard, and it's still really hard. It's hard to condense yourself. It's hard to restrict yourself, right? It's actually quite easy to type. It's quite easy to type and reiterate and rephrase and just jam a bunch of fat in there. But it's a whole other thing. It's a lot more difficult to make something lean and meaningful every word, right? Um, and so then what he did was at the end, he said, now you have to take one of your position papers and you have to blow it out into a full length essay, right? An 8-pager or a 10 or a 12 or whatever. I can't even remember what it was. But I remember thinking, like, I had this wealth of material. I had these great arguments that, one of the 5 arguments, and I just picked the one that I thought was the most interesting. And man, I blasted that paper. I mean, it just, I never really had that much trouble writing essays to begin with, but um, I remember that one standing out in my mind as being one of the easier lit papers I've ever written. You can really easily get carried away when you type away. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like, because you can just start kind of throwing in random shit and going off on tangents, and suddenly you have half a page where you're talking about the protagonist's dog, even though that wasn't the thesis of your paper. So when I was teaching at SIU, when I was teaching like English 101, I did a similar thing where I didn't require page length. I just said that you had to tell a complete argument. And the argument that I made the students follow was that if whatever they were putting in the paper did not directly pertain to their thesis, then they were getting marked down on it. They had to get marked down on it. Because in my mind, you should never stray from your thesis. You should tell your thesis statement, and then every single thing that you type from then on is referencing your thesis statement, right? Because ultimately, it's an argument. A paper is an argument. Balu, sit. My dog doesn't understand that. But so what does this have to do with the game jam? I don't think essays are too far off stories. I think that it's really easy to just go completely off track, especially if you're trying to reach a page quota. Yeah, it's stupid. That's the thing that I hate about page quotas. Page quotas are dumb because they restrict your ideas in a way that I find to be nonsensical. And it would be the same thing if I said that for this jam you have to make a game that is completed in 4 hours. It's like, well, there's going to be a lot of shitty padding in there, right? It's just hard. It's hard to do. I like that system, enforcing good writing instead of page numbers. Yeah, I mean, because I wasn't there to teach how to type. I was there to teach how to, collect your thoughts into an argument, right? That's what an English class is supposed to be. What? I'm teaching you how to critically think and write, write an argument. So, yeah. Students really liked that I said that I have no page requirement until I graded their papers, and then they were really pissed about it, but it's funny. And then I ended up giving everybody A's anyway, because it didn't matter. It was English 101. What was I going to say? Oh, but yeah, so the story thing. The story thing is that what I like about the idea of restricting somebody to a scene, sit. Jesus Christ, dog. Jesus Maria, sit. What I really like about the scene thing, the restriction of scene, is that it forces you to consider block by block a narrative, right? It forces you to think about it forces you to think about story in chunks. And that was why, so for example, Toaster, when you brought up that thing of like, I have to tell a whole story in one short period of time, I was like, kind of you're telling a whole story, but also you want to steer clear of the concept of flash fiction or writing a short story in a scene. Because that was what we did in our MFA when Pinckney told us that we had to write scenes, was that we ended up writing these really, really, really short stories, right? And Pinckney was constantly telling us, like, no, you guys aren't writing scenes. You're not writing scenes. And we're like, but if we write scenes, it'll sound clunky. And he's like, exactly, because you're not good at it yet. You need to write scenes that aren't clunky. And the only way to do that is to write scenes, right? So I don't expect the narratives to be particularly like eye-opening, I'm not expecting like magnum opus to come in. I'm expecting like clunky but accomplished scene writing, right? As long as the formula is followed, as long as we have entering emotion, we have establishment of goal, we have conflict resolution, and we have exiting emotion, right? As long as we have those things, we're going to have probably a little clunky, but effective, right? And what's going to be interesting, because this is the same thing I experienced in the MFA, what's going to be interesting is even though these scenes are going to be clunky, they're going to be more interesting and more entertaining than if people had just done whatever they wanted to do as per usual, right? My expectation is that these are going to be snappy and they're going to be good. What? But how can my story be good if it isn't the best thing I've written yet? Right. I think that I think we'll be, as long as people adhere to it, which is going to be hard, especially in this first one. I'm thinking I might end up doing the scene thing again, because I've really enjoyed the reaction to this. Some people are like really excited, and some people are not. Like somebody posted a thing on the Itch Jam page saying like I had to drop out of this because I didn't think that this was appropriate for game development, and I was like, okay. He's like, I don't even know. I have to make an entire game and bug test it and play test it, and I also have to figure out what a scene is. I'm like, well, if you'd joined the Discord, then you probably could have gotten an idea of how a scene works, right? So people are having like stronger reactions to this than the previous jams, like back in Neophyte here. Kind of baffled. Yeah, I was baffled too. I mean, it was like people. I think it's that there's this thing that people have. I think people have this idea that so long as they tell their truth, that they deserve success, right? So long as they're making exactly what they want to make, then they deserve some form of success. And if they are told in any capacity that they can't make exactly what they want to make, then there's a problem with that. Not them, not their outlook on it, but the thing itself, right? And so like there's a problem with the jam, not with his outlook on the jam, but there's a problem with the jam, right? Yeah, I know. Well, yeah, it's a narrative focused game jam. That's just what I thought. It was weird. It was like, he's like, if I could make a comic, I'm like, well, I mean, it kind of goes against the point of this. You know what I mean? Like it's a game jam. I guess I'm not entirely opposed to receiving comics, but like, I mean, Vandayajas and Neophyte were all about like examining new media narrative through the lens of ludic text, right? Restrictions breeds exactly. I mean, this is what I said when I announced it, right? Was that like poets have been doing this for thousands of years, where they say like we have to use this rhyme scheme in this meter, and they're like, why? And I'm like, because it's a villanelle. And you're like, oh, well, okay. Those are just weird poets. Poets do weird things, like restrict their syllables in their rhyme scheme. That's not what writers do. Like, okay, sure. So yeah, that was an interesting post. So I just said, good luck to you. Enjoy. It's not. I don't have anything against him. I just thought it was a strange comment. I also thought it was strange that he felt the desire to like post publicly rather than just like message me, because he also could have messaged me. Comments are good when they're constructive or useful in some capacity. Yeah, right. I mean, it was just kind of like, I'm leaving because I don't like it. I'm like, okay, cool, sounds good. When he could have just asked me, like, hey, is it okay if I write comics? Be like, is there some way that you could add like an interactive element? Like, could you click? Is there a way that you could, give me some type of interaction? Because if you can give me some type of interaction, then I can consider it a ludic text, right? But no. So, okay. So this is the, I got kind of sidetracked on that. Good boy, Baloo. So the question is, should we play Griftland? Or, yeah. Am I saying this name correctly? I'm suddenly like, yeah, Griftlands? Um, Sunless Sea. Griftland, Sunless Sea, or Westerado double-barreled. That's the question. That's the question I have today. Or another option. So Griftlands, Westerado double-barreled, Sunless Sea, specifically sea, not skies. Westerado definitely? Okay, cool. All right, we'll do that then. We will do that then. I started this game and then I stopped for some reason. I only played it for like 5 minutes. But I love the concept. I think the concept sounds amazing. Okay, so that game could bring up some really interesting talking points considering its main concept. I think it's a really, really interesting concept. Okay, let's... Aha. I don't need a controller, do I? I might. Oh, no, I don't. Hero. I might need to turn this down. Oh, shit, I just realized my camera is still gigantic. Whoops. Okay. Yeah, before we go on, have you played this, Toaster? Dash. Good morning, son. A bit, yeah, okay. Your brother's gone to herd the buffalo today. I'd like you to help him. Nah, I don't want to help him. I don't want to help him. Sigh, I wasn't asking. I was going to give you something for today's hard work, but never mind that. Your brother's waiting for you outside. He'll tell you what to do. So she was going to give me something. It's gorgeous. Good morning, little brother. Admittedly, I haven't touched it in quite some time. Mother looked annoyed. I don't know what you said, but you may want to apologize anyway. Mother told me you're helping me today. That's great. We're selling our buffalo next week, so there's a lot of tough work to do. Are you ready to get to work? Yes, I am. Follow me, little brother. Let's herd some buffalo. Yeah, 1 second. I gotta apologize to Mom. Go help you out. Oh, I was trying to apologize. Ma? Just shoots the gate open. Follow me, little brother. Can I pause this? Yeah, I forgot. I want to change the analyzing Westerado's story. Westerado. Update information. Look at me being a streamer. All right. Shoot the gate open. Come on, brother. You've got to chase a couple more buffalo into the small pen next to me. Get on in there now. Get on in there now. Get on in there now. Come on now. Come on now. Get in the pen now. I don't know why I think this is what a Western sounds like, but... Darn it, that buffalo went wild. Go catch him. I'll keep the rest of them in check. Damn buffalo. Oh, it is? Okay. Yeah, I agree. It's really gorgeous pixel art. Like, unbelievably pretty. Oh god. No. Who goes there? Brother. I'm glad to see you. A bandit came out of nowhere, his gun blazed, and I should have worn a hat. Then I could have taken a shot. Why? He killed Mother. Sob the bastard. I'm not gonna make it. Oh, sob. The bastard. I'm not gonna make it either, brother. You're the last one of us. Who did this to you? It all happened so sudden. I didn't see the murderer's face, but I know one thing for sure. As he stood over me in front of the flames, the only thing I could make out from the silhouette was his flat-brimmed hat. Find Uncle to the east. He'll help you avenge us. Please, brother, take my gun and relieve me of my pain. Don't be afraid. It's better this way. This is actually really cool. So I killed my brother. God, imagine if like more stories started this way. Like where you had to shoot your own, or the main character shot his own brother in the head to put him out of his suffering. It's fucking awesome. All the chickens are dead. I mean, he even killed the chickens. God damn. Oh shit, I thought I had to shoot lock in case of emergency. Yeah, I was trying. Surely there's an easier way. Maybe. What? Yeah, right. Absolutely. It is definitely a great way to introduce it. But right now, I need to figure out how the hell can you aim? Because it says shoot lock, but like, man, I'm right on that log. So, okay, so I can't go this way, so I have to go through this gate. But how does one go through the gate? Yeah, I'm trying. Both a strong narrative moment in terms of setup and tone and a solid game mechanic introduction. Yeah, right. Well, and it also, I mean, it establishes what kind of narrative this is, right? This is a revenge narrative. But by giving you the choice, I think it also allows the player to kind of imbue what kind of protagonist they have, right? Like there's no, I don't know if I could shoot my brother, even if he was dying, like terminally dying. I don't know if I could see it, you know what I mean? Like it's, but I live in like a modern world with modern sensibilities. I think you have to line up your shot with the lock further down, move yourself further down. Okay. Aha, you're correct, Toaster. Run. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, this is something that I've been really starting to think about a lot, especially now that I've set up this whole scene thing. Like this whole you have to write in scene format. Because I was playing some games earlier today, I was playing New World, the new. We also live in a modern society with modern guns. Yeah, true. um, the do modern, yeah, right. But I was thinking about as I was playing New World earlier today. I was like, I don't see any scene format in here. You know what I mean? I mean, there kind of is. Like, you go to somebody and they're like, "There's a mystery over at Kennecott Farm. Can you go there and pull out specifically five squash and return them to me, so that I can test them?" And like, yeah, I mean, like the character, you leave the town, and you go to the Kennecott farm, and you pull out five squash after you, and there's enemies there, and you kill them, and then you return, and she says, "Yeah, it looks like there is some kind of poisoning. Well, that could only be one thing." And then she gives you the next quest, and you have to go to a different farm, and continue the like really weak story. Um, and I was like, yeah, there's no scene in this, but I have fun with New World. Like it's an entertaining game, right? And so I was kind of trying to I was trying to reconcile that in my mind, like how, because I think it could have scene stuff if it just leaned more into unique and interesting mechanics. Nephews, hey, you come in quick. I've locked the door. It's been noisy outside. You look terribly pale. Come warm yourself by the stove and tell me what happened. You've made me worried. What's going on? Draw a gun. No. I think someone murdered mother and wounded brother. What? That's horrible. Darn it. Your brother always refused to wear a hat for protection. Where's your brother now? I had to end his suffering. I'm so sorry you had to do that. This is terrible. You better stay away from home for the night. Get some sleep in the bed upstairs. I'll talk to you in the morning. Now should I draw the gun? Seems like there's a disconnect between what you're doing and what the game says is going on. In New World? Or in this game? Holy shit. I think I've drawn this clock. I like looked up grandfather clock pixel art, and that looks super familiar. In New World, yeah. Yeah, it's just like, I don't know, this is just kind of MMOs in general, you know what I mean? It's a lot of like fetch quests and count to 5, like count to 5, count to 10. And like there's narratives there. And there's also narrative within simulation, right? Like I do think that there is something there. Like one of the best stories I've ever told myself in a game is playing Elite Dangerous, where I was like, it's a simulation, one with live people who can kill me, and like I had no money, and so I was like going around and I was trading slaves. Like that was the only way I could find that I could make any money. It was like smuggling slaves from one place to another. And then I heard about this opportunity in another part of space where I could go sign up with this new queen who was like trying to abolish slavery, right, throughout the galaxy. And so I flew all the way out there in my rinky-dink ship, and I made it out to her space, and like I relinquished. I was like, I'll never trade slaves again. And this is all just narrative I'm making up in my mind, but I was like, I'll never trade slaves again. I work for Isling Duval, right? And I was like, I transported these pamphlets, like millions of pamphlets across the galaxy to people saying like, we should all follow Isling Duval. We should all follow. And Isling Duval was like not a real person. She's some character that the game creators made up. But like, it was I was doing it because I got more money, which meant I could buy another ship, right? But there was also this narrative kind of brewing in the background where I was like fighting this cause that I used to benefit from, fighting against this cause that I used to benefit from. And so like there was this great narrative being built, but there was no scene structure, right? It wasn't being written in scene. It was just, I mean, I guess it could be written in scene in my mind, Like if I were to, but this is the thing that, okay, so this is the thing that I'm trying to nail down on though, is like, you can write in scene structure in games. You can write a cutscene and you can tell that cutscene and in a traditional scene narrative structure, right? Or you can do something like Bloodborne, which I think tells one of the best game narratives ever and does it with so little text. I've said it before and I'll say it again. The human imagination is it's the most powerful storyteller, right? And I think that this is what games do so well. This is what games can do, is that they can force you to tell a story to yourself, which will be better than any authored novel. Any authored novel. And I'll talk about this more. Eventually I'm going to play Bloodborne. I think like maybe next month I'll just like take a break on the jam and we'll just go through like From games, because I just want to talk about From games. I can't do it yet because I want to dedicate like legitimate time to it. But what that scumbag did was terrible. I'll help you find the murderer that took away your family. I can't believe I can draw my gun still. To find the murderer, you got to help out people around town. When they trust you, they'll be glad to give you information. Don't forget to keep track of the people you talk to and the promises you make. Keep and check this journal if you're losing track. Check. Also, if you want to know more about handling weapons, come talk to me anytime. Now go to Clintonville to the northeast and the sheriff or saloon owner may help you. Good luck out there. Howdy, nephew. I've got a question about my weapons. I want a new weapon. Okay, we'll head out. Can I save? No save. That's interesting, because I really wanted to shoot this horse. I wanted to see what would happen. Oh, I can travel by a horse. Interesting. That's cool. Cool. I need to play Bloodborne for myself at some point. From what you and other people have said, it sounds super neat. It's amazing. I mean, I haven't beaten it. Yeah, it might save automatically. You're right. I haven't beaten it, nor will I ever. I think I've come to admit to myself that I'll never be able to beat the From games, because they're too emotionally exhausting for me. And I get so worked up when I play them that like I put them down and then I take like a week-long break, and then by then it's like I've forgotten all the mechanics. It's going to be too hard for me to get back. Like, so now I just watch them. I just watch them be played through, and I just do my best to kind of picture what it feels like to play them, because they do what I've been trying to say is important in game narrative. Granted, I have no PS4, so when I play it, yeah, so when I'll play it, I'm unsure. Well, apparently it's supposed to come to PC eventually. There's some rumors saying that Bloodborne was going to be ported to PC. But yeah, it's just like I can't play them. They're too hard. Not too hard. They're almost too tedious for me, in the sense that like I can't force myself to get good at the long game. I can't. It's just too much. So because I want to do too many things at once. I can't just sit down and play that game for like months at a time, because it'll take me that long to beat it, and I'll be so emotionally exhausted. But I think what they're doing is like the most important thing that's happening in games right now. Admittedly, I'm not sure how well I'd fare playing one myself. I do well with a very particular kind of challenging game. Yeah, me too. Like, challenging games isn't necessarily the thing. Like, Magic is a very challenging game. I can play that game for 8 hours. That's not so much the and I think that's the thing that people misunderstand and misconstrue about From games. Also, I don't really have a gaming PC that's cut out for the big game. Yeah, fair enough. But yeah, I think that's what's misconstrued about From games, is that they're too hard. It's not that they're too hard. It's that they're emotionally exhausting. For me, at least. Like, they're exhausting. What the hell? Hello there, stranger. It was you. Heard anything about ranch burnings? Nah, well, not really. But if you are looking for information, you may want to try the saloon. The bartender knows a lot about these parts, and the card players are quite informed as well. You can find it in the middle of town. Didn't one guy pull out a gun on another guy? Clint Villian. Have you been to both saloons in the area? It was you! No, you should try to visit both. The one in Santa Ana serves better food, while the one in town has better drinks. I wonder if it's just me, but the two owners seem to look awfully similar to each other. Okay, there's the sheriff. There's the saloon. Can anyone help me? Hun, do you have a moment to spare? I could really use some help. How can I help? Well, my husband is a drunk, never comes home, and spends all our money on booze. I need someone to bring him home. Isn't there a sheriff in this town? Oh, that darn sheriff never picks up his feet to do nothing around here. Maybe I could convince him. You know what, hon? I got words for the sad sack myself. Might as well take you. Follow me. Oh, so I can just, like, not go with her. That's interesting. Also, I don't really... Oh, okay. You already said that. I already read that, I mean. Excuse me. Hey, you worthless pile of... Sheriff, would you happen to be able to spare a minute? What are your worries, ma'am? My husband's drunk again and wasting all our money. At least, yo... Ma'am, if I had to babysit every man who drank a drop of liquor and wanted time away from his wife... Oh, damn it, you skipped it. Yourself with the 2. A drunk spendthrift ain't my problem. He's a waste of a man. Tell him, son, ain't just got absolute waste. Draw a gun. Sure sounds it. See, even a boy can see it. Absolute waste. So what do you want, kid? Someone burned down my ranch. Look, it's a downright sham, I'll tell you that, but what you're talking about is 100 times worse than what a woman came in with. You think I'm gonna stick my nose into this? I ain't gonna go after him, and you aren't ready to handle someone who could do that. Go help that woman outside with her husband and prove you can at least handle yourself and your gun. Come back after, and I'll see if I can't remember anything that might help you on your way. The sheriff has no empathy from my ranch. Have you changed your mind? Are you going to get my husband for me? I'll get him for you. Oh, thank goodness. Just bring him to me once you get him. Can I look at the map? What? Oh. Uncles. Journal. From the saloon. Oh, he's just in the saloon? Oh, yeah, no problem. I thought he was out of town. This game is great. Like, I love just how it works, you know? Like, this is the exact kind of game I would like to make. Not necessarily with this amount of mechanical depth. I think I'd like to have a little bit more writing. Like, I can't even imagine if I were to pull out my gun right now, for example, because I can. I can't even imagine how programming that kind of thing. But like, I just want something very simple like this. You know what I mean? Like, this is my dream game, is to make something very simple like this. Hey, cowboy, play a game of cards with us. Draw a gun. No thanks. Look at you're playing late. You know what, feller? Never marry a woman. It just ain't worth it. She asked me to bring you home. Well, you know my wife. Hick, what you doing with her? Just come along. You're going home. I don't want to, Hick. Let me, Hick. I'm going to stay right here. I'm about to draw my gun on him. You're coming home with me. Yeah, it has a lot of character. And I like its commitment, you know what I mean? Like, it's committed to being a silly Western story with some, like, moments of, well, that's kind of heavy. Let's see, let's talk about, howdy, miss. I'm Miss Tressabelle, or just Tress for short. So what's your story? Man of mystery. Well, I tend to like a bit of hidden backstory. See the saloon here? or owner here, he's more fun than a rodeo, but he's ever the bachelor, no ambition. But you're different. I got a good feeling about you, hun. If you see me anywhere else, be sure to say hi. So that's like obviously a narrative setup, right? We'll see her somewhere else. Ah, fresh face in town. Welcome to my fine establishment, sir. How can I help you? I am parched. I need some information. This is a great thing. I can't remember what this is called in fiction. I mean, I guess it's like dialect, but it's a great way of... That part of the problem with writing in dialect is that it becomes so obnoxious to read after a while. Like, I really like Irvine Welsh, for example, but he writes in a very specific dialect that is basically impossible to follow. Like, it's not impossible to follow. It's not that it... Like, I can read it. It's fine. I understand. I eventually understand what all the characters are saying, but it is supremely frustrating. And it just is not an enjoyable experience. I tend to miss things because I'm reading. Variety? Yeah, right. Okay, yeah, linguistical variety, right? But I think part of the problem is that Irvine Welsh is whole hog. Like, every single line of dialogue is written in that incredibly thick dialect that I don't understand upon first passing. And so the result is that I miss a lot of what is being said. I misunderstand it. I gloss over it because it's just too frustrating to read. But like with this, they don't do a lot of dialect. They just changed one word, right? Ah, instead of I. I am parched, right? And it does all of the work for the narrative in terms of dialect, right? It's just, I need some information. And it's not confusing. I know that means I now. And in all circumstances, it means that, right? I think it's just a really good linguistical choice for this game. It's very good for the world, I think. Well, you came to the right place then. Gossip flows freely here. Anything in particular you're interested in? You know the folks around here? Sure do. Most of them are regulars here. Who do you want to know about? The sheriff. He was once good with a gun, but doesn't get up to much nowadays. Rumor has it his wife hasn't been very faithful for quite some time. You didn't hear that from me, though. I don't think he'd appreciate me airing his dirty laundry. Well, sir, you got any more questions? Sure do. Anything in particular you're interested? Heard about anything about raids? It seems lately more ranchers seem to have trouble around these parts. What type of trouble? I heard the oil tycoon is buying up a lot of land. His ways seem the most persuasive. His mansion is a ways out east from here. Well, we know who the villain is. Well, sir, you got any more questions? Sure do. Heard anything about raids? Know anything about who done it? The guys playing cards might know. All kinds of people sit with them. I know enough. This game is doing it well, doing the thing and a little else. I mean, it does almost nothing else except for like yourself, which might be a little bit troublesome for a non-native English speaker. But that's okay. I don't think that's like a mark against it or anything. But I think that these are common enough that they're fine. And then just, a couple of period words like parched. That's not a very common word we would say anymore. Unless you were like wearing a trilby or something. Hey, cowboy, play a game of cards with us. Yes, sir. Deal me a hand. At least it's a consistent thing. Yeah, as long as it's consistent, right? Like, so they've established the rule. Means I, right? And then they never say I. They just always say ah. And at that point, your brain can just go, means I. We're good. Do you need a refresher on how the game plays, or do you just want to jump in? Just deal already. Sorry, but if you don't have $5 for the blind, you're not going to be able to play. Sorry, kiddo. We'll be here when you do. That way other people who aren't familiar with it can get... Yeah, right. Okay, so I need $5 so that I can play with the poker guys. Howdy, hun. Is something wrong? I need some money. The banker always has some jobs for gunslingers. This is great. Music's driving me crazy at the moment, but this is great. Why not ask him? The bank is inside Clintville on the northern side. Didn't mean to leave. I don't want to go. Leave me alone. I had enough of this. Alright, alright, I'll come along. Hold your horses. Alright, let's go. You come on now. Ah, you got him. Thank goodness. I could kiss you. Here's a small token of my appreciation. Oh, sorry. It seems you've already have enough hats. If you're in need of me, this one has your name on it. Shit. I didn't know she was trying to give me a hat. How do I change hat? He's definitely got a hat with a flat brim. Can I not change my hat? Yeah. Damn it. I need $5. Here's a lizard. Who are you? I did be damn old miner now, born in Baton Rouge, don't you know? A guarantee. How in a... Oh yeah, see, this is too much actually. I think this is too much dialect. When I'm like going you know, and I don't know what he's saying. How can you have enough hats? Like, you can't. I have a drawer full of hats. So I was an old miner, born in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Don't you know? I guarantee. How can I be of help to you? Yourself now today. I don't have enough hats, and I have enough to last me the week. Could you tell me about the town? Could give you a better one. A tour of this town now is what I could do. No, thank you, sir. Quoi faire? Well, you took time now. Just took time and go and looked around all day on your lonesome. This guy sounds like is it Boomhauer? He sounds like Boomhauer a little bit. Okay. I wanted to find the bank. Aha, there you are. Oh, bank owner. Howdy, I'm a banker around these parts. What can I help you with? You got a job? I need someone to protect a carriage carrying something valuable. You in? Oh, shit, I didn't mean to say no thanks. I'll do it. Alrighty, go west of Santa Ana and talk to the Buffalo Express driver. He'll tell you when the carriage is leaving. Alright, so before I do that, though, I wanted to go talk to the sheriff because he said that if I talk to him... Oh, there's money back there. Can I go back there and steal money? Is that possible? I stole some money. Alright, let's head down, talk to... The hell? Oh, I thought that was blood. It was a carpet. Is that the same lady? No, it can't be. So you're able to handle the domestic quarrel, sure, but look here, I know who did it, and his shadow is a lot longer than yours, kid. All I can give you is a clue and point you in the direction of folks who can maybe help you further. The one time I met him, I remember clearly his medium wide hat as he detached his belt to hit me with a small silver buckle. What? I love that this game is obsessed with hats. Oh, the hat is your life. So she was going to restore one life. Rancher Bob has been having troubles northwest of here, outside of town. Help him out, and hopefully it'll get you closer to the man you're looking for. Who are you? Have you heard of the latest rumor going around? No. Well, supposedly some Indians, have been up to no good in the east. I mean, I get it. They're going for the period, but I wonder what they want. Let's see. I guess I head out of town. I'm surprised at how entertained I am by this game despite me not really doing much. Yeah, clearly. I mean, he basically bitch slapped the sheriff. Who are you, Gravedigger? Good day. Are you here to drop off some boots? I'm a collector after all. I'm looking for a murderer. I do make a living off the dead, but so far I don't usually cause it. but I'd never stare a gift corpse in the worms, nor question he who brings it. Who wrote this? This game is great. I love this. I even like this, you know, kind of funny film strip thing. Like, it adds to the almost like hyper exaggerated, like the hyper exaggerated spaghetti western feel. The devs wrote it. It doesn't waste time. Yeah, exactly. Well, and it's just like, yeah, everything's like snappy, and the dialogue is fun and funny. I'm amazed at how many people you can talk to. You know what I mean? Like, and it's all like relatively meaningful dialogue. Like, it's not just like, I come here every day. You know, like Pokemon dialogue. You know what I mean? Like, the sea is so pretty at night. Where they're just saying like non sequiturs that you're like, what? Feels like it's all, you know, it really feels like a world. You know what I mean? In a similar way that like Red Dead does. And in some ways, this even more. Because, like, if you go and talk to somebody in Red Dead, sometimes they're just like, well, fuck you, you know? And talking with everyone is relevant to the premise, since any of them could be the person you're looking for, so the dialogue has to be worth your time. Yeah, totally. Which, like, God, what a shitload of writing that is. But was there, like, a lead writer on it? I'll have to look that up. Because I'm just interested to see if he has any other work. Because, like, if somebody, like, if I had seen this game and they were hiring, like, a narrative designer, this would be my dream job. Would be writing all of these things. You know what I mean? It would be my dream job. If you're in need of any body removal, I'm your undertaker, and of course any sensitivities would be kept betwixt the two of us. Alright, let's head north. What are you doing here? This is my land. Holy shit. Oh god, what the fuck is... Oh, I'm dead. I don't understand. Jesus Christ, I'm getting out of here. What the fuck? That was insane. I feel like I went the wrong way. Oh shit, you're mad at me too. Bob does not like trespassers. He was very aggressive. Hiromi Haneda. Dave Felita. Ferdy Terpstra. This game is suddenly not so funny. Oh fuck, oh my god, I'm out of here. What, I can't skin them for crafting materials? It's a fucking bane of my existence in games now. Oh shit. Oh god, they're still mad at me. Run! Run! Oh my god, there's a fence there. Run this way. Holy shit. Oh. Are these guys mean too? I'm watching you. Don't do anything stupid now. Oh god. I just wanted to find the caravan. I did walk into the spooky part of town. Run! Let's go get a hat. Okay, lesson learned. Don't go north. Got it. Oh, you're back in need of a hat. Here it is. Thanks again. Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for the hat. Okay, so I can go out the east of Clintville. Get 2 hats if you can. Good idea. Nope. Can only get 1 hat. Aw, damn it. Okay, so I can't go to town this way, so it's gotta be down through this road. Are you people mad at me? How do I get over there? The banker pointed you toward the Buffalo Express driver and Santa Ana who will be driving the carriage. In Santa Ana. Oh, I get it. So they're not fucking around. Like it could literally be anyone in the game. Is it randomized? Each playthrough? Yes, anyone. I mean, I guess it has to be a male. Or maybe it could be a female disguised as a male or something, but like it is randomly selected each playthrough. Are you fucking serious? I had no idea. That is awesome. So it's not even necessarily because like my narrative brain was like, well, obviously it's going to be the big bad millionaire that lives in the mansion in the east, right? Like that was my natural assumption. I think that that's the natural assumption to make, based on just like how narratives work, right? But if it's like a randomly selected person on any playthrough and you gather clues, I mean that's just brilliant. Like that is so cool. And this, once again, this is the kind of thing that I'm talking about. Like this is how ludic text can become a more meaningful narrative text. At least that's my impression. It's essentially a case of having to piece together the narrative yourself based on what you find out. Right, yeah. And this is exactly the kind of thing that I have been trying to say all the time about game narratives and why they can be such powerful narrative devices, because they can do things that both film and books can't do, right? Because a film can't randomize the antagonist every time you watch it. You know what I mean? A book can't do that either. But like a game can. Yes, exactly. It's a unity of game mechanics and narrative. That's why I get so enthusiastic when you mentioned that you had this game near the start of the stream. Yeah. Yeah, totally. Well, and this is the kind of thing that like I'm desperate for. Like the last thing I want to see is more games like Uncharted. You know what I mean? Like Uncharted they're good games. I don't have anything in particularly wrong with them. Like I don't think that they're like terrible, but like they represent this thought that I don't like in games, which is like they're not confident in themselves to be good narrative devices, right? So they do this weird in between thing where they have gameplay and then they have story, and then they have gameplay and then they have story, and then they have gameplay and then they have story, right? And to me it's like you're shooting yourself in the foot when you do that with your game, right? Like if you have a full team of developers and you have game designers who are paid a decent amount of money to come up with ideas, and the best thing that we've come up with for like 20 years is, well, we'll have them go around this little play area, and then at the end there'll be like a thing where they can't do anything and the characters will talk. It's like that's just the best thing that you've come up with. That's the best option. It can't be the best option. You know what I mean? Like the idea of randomizing the antagonist and also giving you the ability to withdraw your weapon at any point and change the dynamics of an entire situation is so cool to me. And it's the kind of thing that I just want to see games do more. Like, just be a little more confident in yourself as a medium. You don't need to rely on like... Because like if you're going to go the route of game, then cutscene, game, then cutscene, game, then cutscene, fine. But you better write those cutscenes, like good fiction is written, which a lot of the time they're not. But there's another option, which is do things like this and do things like From. Where From From considers everything as though the player is the protagonist. Everything that they construct in their games is that. The player character is an embodiment of the player themselves. There's a little piece of chicken in my glass that I just noticed. Okay. Oh shit, I didn't mean to talk to this guy. Oh no. I can just give you that, none I can't. And this is but your man Frere. If you got me a train ticket from Dame's ticket salesman, is one I do say, the one I ride on here for 25 years ago today, right now, here in Plain, because I did gone and lose mine. I don't understand this guy. It's creative, and creative is pretty cool. Yeah, it's just, it's embracing the concept of the medium, right? Like it's embracing itself as a storytelling device. That's the thing that I'm waiting for. Because like film did the same thing. Film was trying to replicate the print story at the beginning. Like it was trying to reuse and replicate the things that were happening in books, so that it was like something that was relatively familiar to the people who hadn't really seen film. And then film kind of grew into itself, and it learned about itself as a medium, right? The people who make film learned like, well, we don't need to do what books do. We make film, right? And I'm waiting for that kind of thing to happen with games. And it seemed like it did happen for a while, and then it went away, and then it came back. And you know, like we have these weird peaks and valleys. And I assume that is probably the case in film as well. But it seems like we have these like periods of time where it's like games are games, and the game narrative is told through ludic text. And then they're like, yeah, but actually we just came out with this new technology, and so now we're going to have these like really realistic facial scans that are still uncanny valley, and they're going to talk to each other. You know what I mean? So what was I doing? Oh, I wanted to play poker with those guys, because clearly I can't leave town. Hey, cowboy, play a game of cards with us. Yes, sir, deal me a hand. Just jump in. Just deal already. Alrighty, let's stop talking and start playing then. Deal them out. Oh, shit. I thought we were going to be playing Texas Hold'em. This is a bad hand. No, it's not. Raise 5. Discard. Oh, no. Keep card. Discard. Confirm. Queen. Check. Let's play another. I love poker. Video games as an industry are kind of heavily run by the progress of technology, which is a bit of a shame. It takes attention away from the fun part, if you ask me. Yeah, I know. That's actually... There's something I talk about in the beginning, like the very first Vandia stream, where where I said that like there's an interesting thing going on in games where like game fans are simultaneously the most demanding and most spoiled and most forgiving audience that I can even imagine. Like they're so demanding of these huge like AAA budget games where they're like Cyberpunk didn't allow me to plug my brain into my computer and become Cyberpunk man. You know what I mean? And therefore I want CDPR to burn to the ground. Like that was like the reaction to that game. And but at the same time, like, you know, a game like this comes out, and I mean, I don't imagine that this game did particularly well, but I'm sure it did fine. I just don't think it like sold, you know, 100 gajillion copies. Um, but like, and you look at things like Itch and the explosion of like single developer or small game, like small team games, and it looks to me like a revolution is kind of a dumb word, but like a revolution in the sense that like the people the teams that are making the photorealism games are doing their thing, and then there's like hundreds of thousands of people who are writing their own stories, as it were. It's kind of like the short story revolution of the early 1900s, right? Where suddenly there was just so many writers and they're all putting out tons of work, which was kind of rare, you know, like, or not kind of rare. There was like kind of the first time that that had really happened, to the extent that it did, right? Where there were so many short story writers, and they were all getting published, and there was just a lot of ways to consume fiction. And I feel like that's kind of what's going on here, is like, or not here in this game, but just here in general, like, is we, you know, like people on Itch are like have followers, you know what I mean? Like Squish Buff Dave has like 6 followers, or like Rinzai has like 30 followers or something. Where they have like fans. Like, it's like, what do you do? Well, in my free time, I make games. And they're like, oh, for a company? It's like, no, I just make games. I just, you know, I like making games, and I make games and people play them. Oh, how many? Well, I have 30 followers, and you know, some of my games have a couple hundred plays, and it's like, what? You know, I've published like like 10, 12 short stories. I'm pretty sure of the 10 or 12 short stories, I can't remember right now, of the 10 or 12 short stories that I've published, I think I've probably those have probably been read collectively less than 100 times. Less, maybe even less than that. Less than 50. You know what I mean? It's weird. It's weird. That like one of the game that Poyura, the game that Two Links and I made together, I think that game has like over 1,000 plays or something. Like 1,000 people played that game. What? That clearly points to a healthy medium when like 2 guys can spend a couple of weeks together putting together a game, and it gets 1,000 plays. What the fuck? So let's see. This game also has very different expectations under it being a smaller scale and smaller budget. Yeah, totally. Right. Yeah. Like, it's like, this is not expected to make, you know, hundreds of millions of dollars of profit so they can have, you know, funny and interesting and silly things. Right. But that's where all that stuff is going to come from. I mean, one of the MFAs who was with me, he worked at Penguin Random House. Right. And like, people would joke about how bad, E.L. James is, the writer of 50 Shades of Grey. And he's like, yeah, I mean, you can talk shit on E.L. James all you want, but she basically paid for all of everybody else's books to get published, right? Like, without E.L. James, we have no small indie presses. We have no first-time novelists. We have no debut, because publishers aren't going to do that. Publishers aren't going to be like, well, you're nice. You passed your driving test, so you should get your book published. You know what I mean? The publishers look and they go, we have $800 gajillion because of E.L. James. Let's try and like throw out some books and see what, you know, who we can splat against the wall and get people to read. So like, thank you, E.L. James, right? Revolution is a great way to describe it. We're in a world where smaller teams are now able to tell their own interactive stories. Yes, exactly. And that's how we've gotten interesting games like this, Road 96, Katana Zero. Oh yeah, okay, sorry, I'll play it. The people behind the games for the Wander. Yeah, exactly, right? Like, we have so much work. If we were to put all of those games together into like a little package and sell it, I mean, how many hours of content do we have? You know what I mean? Like, if I don't think we could do it because everybody's, you know, making shit in disparate places. Like, this game's made in Twine, this one's in Unity, this is in Game Maker, this is in RenP, you know what I mean? So, like, I don't think we could do it. But if we were to collectively, since the beginning of Neophyte Game Jams, if we were to take all of that content and smush it into a package, how many hours of content is that? It's a lot. Independent storytelling was bigger than ever, totally. Yeah, like TikTok. I think that may also count people playing it more than once. Yeah, that's possible. Katana Zero is awesome. I have played it. I didn't beat it, but I have played it. The bureaucracy of doing that would also be, yeah, it'd be brutal. I mean, like actually smushing all that shit together. Yeah, I mean, it's not worth doing. It's just like, just thinking of like, so if we were to imagine all the people who have kind of come through the doors of Neophyte and Vandiyara, right? And all the content that's been produced in that time, how much of that, how many hours of content is that? It's a lot of hours, I think, right? And it's interesting because if we, I mean, I don't think anybody would want to do this, and I don't want this either, but if we had pooled all these people together and said, okay, for the next game jam, we're all going to work on the same game, right? So we have all of our developers are going to work on development. All of the artist people are going to work on the art. All the, you know what I mean? This is never going to happen, nor do I want it to happen. But we have like the size of a very small studio, having just met literally 1 year ago, like today. You know what I mean? Like Neophyte started 1 year ago, almost to the dot. I think it was like 10/8. So I don't know. It's just kind of interesting. How much content can be put out in a year by a bunch of people so long as they have a deadline. You know what I mean? Like, as long as you have a deadline. All right, I've got to get out of this room. I have a really bad hand. Oh, no, I don't. 5, 6, 7, 8. I don't like that it's this one. I don't like, oh, I don't want to go all in. Why do I, how come I can only go raise 5 or all in? I'll raise 5 then. A whole heck and a lot of content, yeah. Oh, I won. No, I'll leave the table. I'll hand you that. You know, we heard you were after a man murdered your family. Oh, my dog is just trying to lay on the couch. Got it. We just happened to hear something about a murderer the other day. Some say blood in his veins is as brown as his hat. Thank you very much. Hope it helps you along your way. Oh, I wanted to... Okay. So he's some shade of brown. One of the biggest lessons university teaches you, deadlines can really push you to do things. Totally. Totally. Or at least his hat was brown, though it seemed the wanted poster also applies to his shirt and jacket. Yeah, right. Small silver belt buckle, brown jacket on his back. He's definitely got a medium white hat with a flat brim. It does seem to apply. I think it's him. The one thing I kind of wish was in this game, I kind of wish that it just told me all the locations to begin with. Because, like, presumably this guy, you know, grew up here. So he ought to know. he ought to know kind of some key details about the world, like where towns are. East of the train station. How do I go to Santa Ana? $25-year-old ticket for him. The sheriff has pointed you towards the rancher Bob. Well, hey, we don't know how far your protagonist has traveled. For all we know, he's barely... Yeah, that's true. That's true. New guns and clothes in stock. Can see me in the premium goods of general store. I mean, I have no reason for any of that right now. I can't even shoot the gun. Fort Motors. I'm kind of just exploring at the moment. I think if it were the case that he's never left the ranch, I actually think that that's a detail that we should know. I think that would be it would be really nice. I think it would help the world a lot, because it's like if the brother was like, "You're barely 19 and you gotta help me now," you know what I mean? And then he says, "I never left the ranch." I think it would just broaden the character, right? It would just it would round out this character, who I think is a pretty strong character to begin with. Like, he reminds me of the kid from Blood Meridian, albeit in a vastly less, but he reminds me of him. Get lost. Okay, fine, I'll leave. What about this way? Oh my god, you really die like super fast in this. Admittedly, he's also one of the more lightly written characters that the player is meant to slip into rather easily, so they probably wanted to leave as much as they could up to that player. I agree. I think I agree as well. But there is a sense of witcherness to him, and not my favorite technique. Yeah, it's not my favorite either. Like, because it's like, yeah, we leave open the character for your own interpretation of him, but at the same time, it's like he says, like, I mean, I don't have a brother. I didn't kill my brother, right? Or no, I do have a brother in real life. I've never killed my brother with a revolver, right? So it's interesting in that sense, because it's like in The Witcher, I'm often confronted with many decisions I need to make, and the three choices I have for any given situation are not ones that Dylan would want to make, right? They're Geralt flavored Dylan decisions, right? Where I have to decide something. I have to pick the Geralt decision that I like the best. Though at least this guy isn't a special chosen one with a cool sword who just happens to also have no character whatsoever. Yeah, right. Yeah, definitely. I'm glad he's not the chosen one. Please God, no more of those. I'm very happy that this is just a box standard, and not box. I don't mean box standard in a negative way. I mean it in a positive way. I'm glad that this is a box standard revenge story. Hot as Hades around here, ain't it, fella? I think I might move up into the mountains where it's a bit cooler. How about you? I like the hat. Well, that may be the case, and I'd prefer not be the one roasting. I hear there's all sorts in the mountains. Bandits protecting treasures, hide guns, packs of wild dogs. If you head north into the mines, you'll be in the mountains before you know it. Good luck in the heat, cowboy. I'm gonna get at it. I'm glad the largely plain character is in fact a plain character. You are wearing all black, sir. Yeah, true. He is wearing all black. Are these some bad banditos? You're looking for trouble? No, I'm not. So what are you doing here? You ain't finding anything but trouble with us, the beefhead bulls. I'll be on my way. Haha, flee, go play with your toy gun, run to your mommy and cry, boo-hoo-hoo. Guys, any thought of something witty? No? We're just gonna do all the thinking around here. Haha, bitch. I shot his hat off and then ran away. I shot his hat off and ran away because I am brave. Dude, am I back in town? Fucking hell. Dude, where is the ranch? I'm very brave. I feel like I'm no closer to finding the murderer. This game really opened up in a way that I wasn't expecting. Like, I'd kind of looked up some stuff on this game, I'd watched some gameplay videos and thought it was super interesting. But, like, I didn't know that the game was going to open up to, like, damn near fucking, like, Red Dead Redemption levels of open. I unfortunately have to head out. Physics lab. Bummer. Well, have a good day at Physics Lab. I think I'm probably going to wrap up the stream here in a second anyway, so. So it's all good. Because I'm kind of running out of gas. I've already streamed 2 times this week, so I'm not like... I'm not quite in the... like in the hardcore. Thank you very much. I will have a swell time, I'm certain. Okay, good. Sounds good. Well, if that's the case, then maybe I'll just head out as well. Because, yeah. There's some other stuff I want to play, but it's not very good at stream. Not really good on stream. But I guess like the main takeaway, I'm assuming Toaster's left, but the main takeaway that I see from this is, once again, it's that games don't need to emulate traditional narratives so much, or at all. I think games are better with story in some capacity, but the story can be told through any means. And I think the better games get at understanding the narrative that they can tell through their mechanics, the better those games are going to be. And like, so for example, I wanted to talk about Scene today because I figured it'd be a good thing to talk about, like first stream after Jam starts. Can I? Hang on, I'm gonna turn the music down. Okay, whew. That music is driving me nuts. But I wanted to do something where we talked about Scene today, and I wanted to like show some examples of scenes in games. I think I'll save that for next week because it seemed like basically everybody was a little burnt out on the stream and didn't want to come today, which is totally fine. It's not a big deal. But the thing that I find interesting is like I wanted to search for scenes in games, but all I could think about was cutscenes, where there's not a whole lot of ludic going on. Or, I guess we could have played something like one of the David Cage games, which are like game mechanics, like interactive movies, Until Dawn, those types of games. But what I realized was like, it may not actually be that beneficial to talk about. Because the thing that I'm ultimately the most interested in terms of game narrative is those games which convey their narrative through their play. right? Through their ludic text. And that is it's a worthy endeavor to pursue. And man, I'm really running out of gas. It's crazy. I'm like super tired today. I don't know what's going on. But then you have games like this that they relinquish the control of the narrative and let the player take over, right? And they have a couple of rules that they've set up, right? Like you have to find the guy, you have this many lives, and you can talk to anybody, you can draw your gun on anybody, it'll change the interaction, right? And so now I'm like building out this narrative where in my mind, where as I'm just kind of interacting with the world that they've given me, I'm thinking like, well, my guy went on a little journey north, right? He went on a little journey north and he ran into some bad dudes at the graveyard. And while he was at the graveyard with the bad dudes, they pulled guns on him and he tried to fight, but he panicked and he took off north where he ran into two coyotes and he had to shoot them. Right? Well, he didn't have to shoot them actually, but he shot them because he thought he needed the practice, right? Because that was what happened in my mind was I was like, how do you aim this gun? So I aimed the gun and I shot the two coyotes, which is kind of fucked up in hindsight. Like if you had read that in a book, you'd be like, wow, this is really weird. Where like he goes north and he's in the graveyard with the other people, and then he heads north from there after getting shot at, and he decides to kill two innocent animals that had like nothing to do with anything. It would really cloud your concept of like who this character is, who this person is. And then later on you leave and you go south, and then he goes west and he runs into more bad guys, and then he has to run away and he gets back into town, right? And he meets up with this woman that he helped earlier, right? Like that's a narrative that all came from play. There was no authored text in that narrative. That was all me inventing it. And so in that sense, like you can still write scene. You can still write scene in game without writing scene. It's just a matter of how you're going to construct the world and how you're going to construct the mechanics so that a player can tell themselves a story. But anyway, so that's kind of the takeaway, and I'm going to stop streaming now. So I will talk to you guys later.